Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
My neighbor was complaining yesterday that he did not make it to the gym yesterday morning. But you know what? That makes 5 years in a row. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith on a beautiful morning. God bless America. Oh, my. Call in with the pledge. Here we go. Good morning, good morning. Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Big spring tire sale going on right now. And let's not forget our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Good morning. And also our friends over to Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Chick Days going on right now. Everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch. Right now, without further ado, let's go to the phone lines and see if we have a pledger with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Anybody there?
Good morning, Zeb.
Well, how are you?
I'm well. How are you? I'm
good. Now, I do not recognize the voice, so please tell me your name.
This is Jolene. Yes.
Well, how are you this morning?
I am well. How are you?
Well, as good as an old fat man can be. So you just go ahead and give us the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would, please.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very, very nice. Thank you so much. All right, God bless. Have a wonderful day. There's a nice lady right there and did a good job, too. Hey, it's time for the weather, and our weather, of course, brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. And, hey, by the way, they're open Monday through Fridays 9 to 6 and Saturdays 10 to 4. Carpet and flooring and kitchen construction and all your home decor items, whatever you need to make your house a home, I'll tell you what, they can help. Look for the blue door at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. And once again, I want to stress that they're going to have another girls' night out on Friday night on April 3rd. Check it out at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Right now, without further ado, here he is, Michael Rogers Weather.
Good morning, 20 degrees in beautiful downtown Murtaugh. Our weather's going to be beautiful all the way through the weekend. The beauty of it is that you're going to see 80s by the time you get to Saturday. So without further ado, sunny tonight, sunny today, clear tonight. You're going to top out to 63 for the high, but each and every day as you work your way towards Saturday, I'm looking for you to hit a high of about 83. So you got some good-looking weather all the way through the weekend. So enjoy it. The only weather you've got.
Now, there he is, Mr. Great Weatherman, Michael Rogers Weather, brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design at 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. And check out all the newly refurbished furniture and look for their blue door, Cheney Flooring and Home Design. You know what? Let's have Merv May jump on in here. Mervs, let's sell some cattle this morning, shall we? Go ahead.
All right, good set of steer calves here to get all 31, 31 going out, 32.
Oh, thank you very much. That's the chant of Merv May, the world's best auctioneer over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. The number to call for information on the sale and for consignment, 678-9411. You can talk to Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy. Sale time, 10 o'clock this morning. And here's just a little bit of the run they're going to have today. Lyle Woodbury over to Raft River bringing in 100 head of yearlings, about 800-pounders. Eddie Jensen over at Thatcher is going to bring in 40 head of yearlings, mixed yearlings. David Hogan up at DuBois. I know that family. They've been in the horse and rodeo business for a long time. 60 head of mixed yearlings. And Jay Jensen and Shader Alder are going to bring in 60 head of calves. Bob Telford bringing in a trailer load of cows and also some 400 to 500-pound calves. They're going to have a ripping good run of butcher cows. And don't forget, too, trailer line run. A lot of folks coming in with trailerfuls of cattle for this big sale this morning at 10 a.m. at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Number to call for more information, 678-9411. Merv May sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves here to get all the 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, and I sell them $1.35. Does that bell get bottom?
Oh, I know it. I know. We hit bottom, but that's a good bottom price compared to what I normally sell for. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Tomorrow, am I right or wrong? I believe tomorrow is the first day of spring, the 20th of March, and the weather forecast sounds absolutely fantastic for the entirety of the weekend. Oh my, I know the sunshine sounds good. I know that the blue skies and everything sounds really great for outside activities, but we need rain. We're going to have to do a rain dance here next week. I'm going to talk a little bit about the NCAA tournaments. Stand by, but first of all, Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They're always there to serve you, 7:30 to 5 o'clock Monday through Friday. Number to call, have your order waiting for you on the counter, 678-0459. These are such nice people over at Ramsey Heating and Electric for all your wire and fuses and cords and your repairing or heating needs. They've got it all. And light bulbs. Go to the light. They've got all your lighting facilities and needs right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric. 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Really nice people. Hey, by the way, if you need chickens, well, first of all, let's back it up a little bit. You need chicks? Well, I know where you should be going right now. The chicks are in. They're coming to town. Wrong kind of chick. But it's Chick Days at Valley White Home and Ranch in Rupert, and chicks are only 99 cents. Here a chick, there a chick, everywhere a chick. They're underneath the boots. They're over there by the feed. They're everywhere. Well, I'll tell you what, they've got all the feed, all the waterers, all the feeders. They've got all the heat lamps. They've got everything for Chick Days over at your Valley White Home and Ranch. Wonderful people that are serving the family, the home, and the ranch. You stop over at Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert, and check out all the buys with Sean and Mandy. And by the way, a lot of the 4-H clubs are getting started now and really rocking and rolling with all their projects. They got all your feed needs. They got all your equipment needs. They've got everything for you at Valley White Home and Ranch. Stop in and visit with those good folks serving you, Valley White Home and Ranch. Who really is the bigger man? Who really is showing and providing leadership for his country? Who really is standing up for his people? And who really is warning others around the globe not to be aggressive to his country? Well, it's certainly not Barack Obama. It's not our president. I'm talking about Israel's Netanyahu. I think he went a step further than even necessary with Obama and this administration. I think he did something that showed he was the bigger man. In his acceptance speech for being the winner of the prime minister position in Israel, he basically came out, and I'm paraphrasing, and said that he wants to have a stronger and more committed effort of working with us, their number one ally, the United States of America. He was very, very honorable in the way that he handled the speech and the way that he handled talking about us specifically, the United States of America. But here's the problem. Obama won't even call him. Obama won't even call and congratulate him. Obama is like a very spoiled child. And I'm beginning to think, well, I'm not beginning to think, I honestly firmly believe this is indicative of the Democratic Party and the far left. They don't get their way, there is going to be hell to pay. Obama, like a very spoiled child, will not, he hasn't yet, prove me wrong, called with congratulations to Netanyahu or even indicated that he will do, again, with Israel as our number one ally over in that area, all he can to protect them and to protect the future. No, hasn't done it. Obama is very egotistical, pompous, and self-centered. And the more, and every day that goes by, people call me that have the backbone of an amoebic cell on my cell phone. Oh, how dare you criticize the president? Well, you have no respect for the president. Well, what's the matter? You don't like Obama. Let me tell you something, folks. I wish you would have that same nerve to call on the air. I give the number many times. Don't use that as an excuse. 436-2244 or 1-866-927-4587. But they wait until like mid-afternoon to call me on my cell phone, which I readily give out the number, 312-2976, and start chewing me out because, oh, you don't respect the president. Well, here's the bottom line, folks. No, I don't. Because of his actions, attitudes, mannerisms, and the way he is conducting himself in the Oval Office. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning. I would like to ask you a question. When have you ever heard a slinky snake speak? You know what I mean.
I do, and Helen, every time you call and ask me a question, I've got to be really honest with you, I start to wear off my deodorant.
You made my day.
Okay, bye. Thank you. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. One of the calls I had the other day, you can't treat the president that way. Why, he's the president. Why, you have to honor and respect him. No, we do not. The man is not showing respect. The man is not showing honor. And the man is not showing the courage to really honor the United States of America. Respect is a two-way street. And when most of the world's free country leaders have called Netanyahu and us, the number one ally of that country, our quarterback is hiding in the huddle, he won't say a word. And you know, when you stop and think about this, and it's not just me that said this, I'll say it before a lot of others later on today during newscasts, Obama is actually being nicer and more amenable to people like Russia's Putin than he is Israel and Netanyahu. Prove me wrong. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Today's the big day. Lunch bunch day at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland and Burley. Oh, my, are we going to have a good time. We've got a lot of door prizes to give away, and those doors are heavy. We're going to give away Walmart gift certificates, Smith's Food King certificates, Hanson Mortuary certificates. Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. 11:30 today at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley, Denny's Restaurant, and also a new location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, the best on the menu for you at Denny's Restaurant. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Look, Jeb, hey, I agree with everything you're saying this morning. You're right on the money. And this Obama-Netanyahu thing has been very interesting to watch unfold, beginning with Netanyahu coming over and addressing Congress. That was something that the Democrats and Obama did not want because they were actively trying to defeat Netanyahu in this election. And this Netanyahu winning his election is a huge defeat for Obama because he had some policies he wanted to implement as far as peace accords with the Palestinians and some other things and he wouldn't be able to get it done with Netanyahu in power. And so this is something that Obama didn't want. He despises Netanyahu. He looks at him as a stereotypical Jew, the white, middle-aged, shrewd politician, and he hates him for that. And he hates him because he's the head of state of Israel, and he's a conservative.
Yep.
And the whole thing has just turned against Obama in this deal, and it's been interesting to watch it unfold.
Let me tell you something, and we can sum it up in a very few words, and I think you will agree with me. If it came down to Netanyahu and Obama in an old Wild West shootout, Netanyahu just outsmarted him.
You're right. You're right. The whole last month has been very calculated on both sides to gain political advantage, and Netanyahu won.
Well, look at Netanyahu's situation in Israel. And look at he's a former commando, and I mean, the guy is widely respected and everything. So here goes the President of the United States and our administration, and they give $350,000 that we know of to the opposition to defeat Netanyahu. Boy, that's like playing and trying to win a poker game with just a pair of deuces. Because if that was known like it is, and the loser becomes prominent like Herzog did, and Netanyahu wins like he did, Obama's standing there like a little kid in the corner caught with a nickel that he stole off somebody else's desk.
Absolutely. And it also exposes the real intent and the actions of the Obama administration, because they were screaming about when he addressed Congress how that was going to influence elections and we shouldn't be doing that. And the whole time he was trying to influence elections. And it's just a double standard, speaking out both sides of his mouth.
Absolutely.
He will not tell you the truth.
Let me ask you a real quick question. Give me a short answer because I got to get a break in here. But the criticism that I have received and others, because we're highly critical of this president, right away, naturally, the ones that have the IQ of a bicycle spoke, they say that we're racist. What are your feelings? I have a hard time respecting a man that doesn't respect us or others that are allies.
I refuse to fall in the trap of not respecting the presidency, the office of the presidency. Mm-hmm. And if Obama came to Burley, I would give him the respect that the presidency deserves. As far as being the man and his policies, I do not agree with him. I think he's wrong. I think he's leading us down a dead end. I think we're in trouble. And I think I have the freedom and the right to say that in this United States. And until he changes that, I'm going to go ahead and speak my mind.
Well, I draw the line a little bit tighter than you did. I mean, you mentioned that if he came to Burley, I would give him the respect. Those are the words you used. If he came to this area, I also would do the respectful thing of not saying, doing, or even attending, because I would not want to go and listen to and be phony about someone that I don't care for.
I think it's important to accord him the respect that he deserves, and you can listen to him, you can go, you can attend his speeches, and I think it's important to do that also, to find out exactly what he's saying, to hear what he's saying. The problem we're getting into in America is we're trying to shout each other down and boycott each other. It's like going to a college campus and you try to say something and people boycott or won't let you say it. I think that's wrong. I think we should afford everybody their freedom of speech.
I agree with you, but you just said the key words at the end of your paragraph, afford everyone the right of free speech. But you know as well as I do that if we went to a meeting with Obama, our questions being on the conservative vein and asking about free trade agreements, asking about what's going on with our pressure on Putin over in the Ukraine, or what he's doing specifically about ISIS and the war on terror, those questions would be filtered out if they had an inkling that you and I were of a different political vein.
They would. We know they would. Where we really need to concentrate and put our efforts is getting a Congress that will stand up to him and get a backbone in the spine.
Oh, boy. Now, there is going to be a search for hen's teeth. Thank you for your call. God bless you.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. Berry Equipment and Rental, these are good folks, and they are ready for spring. You know what? With the weekend that's coming up weather-wise, you had better get into Berry Equipment and Rental. Any location. They've got locations at South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Spring is here. Starts tomorrow. Officially, they're going to throw up the banner and say, spring's here, get to work. Well, there's all kinds of things you need to be checking on. Maybe you need to move a bunch of dirt. You better check on those Bobcats, or maybe you really need to move a bunch of dirt, the Doosan loaders or the Doosan excavators, and they've got all the Coyote tractors. My goodness, what are you waiting for? They've got fantastic warranties, great pricing, great rental rates. All you have to do is stop in and see Berry Equipment and Rental, Jerome, Twin Falls, and the new location, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Really, really good folks. Oh, and by the way, I know some other good folks, and that's Lucky Bourne. Hello, Lucky Bourne. I'll tell you what, he's heading up everybody over to Wiltran Incorporated, 529 F Street in Rupert, and they're looking for 2 years Class A driving experienced drivers, clean driving record. They are looking for good people for Wiltran Incorporated. And after 60 days of employment, benefit packages will be available, and you can apply online at wiltraninc.com or call Lucky Bourne at 639-6411. Wiltran Incorporated. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This deal with Netanyahu and the attitude that's being, I guess, perceived by the world right now. I don't know if you heard what Charles Krauthammer said last night, but I have a lot of respect for Charles Krauthammer. I think he is very educated. I think he is extremely articulate. And in his articulation, he can just tell it like it is. Now, I want to read this quote, and then I'm going to do a bottom of the hour break with our sponsor, so stand by. Here is a quote that he said last night, and it's worth repeating and remembering. Look, it's clear that Obama loathes Netanyahu more than any other world leader, meaning more than the Ayatollah in Iran or Putin in Russia. And he did everything he could to unseat him, but he failed. And I think the message here is that this was an election between Bibi Netanyahu and Obama. That was on the ballot because Obama was essentially saying, if you want to reconcile with the United States, you want your ally behind you, you are going to have to get rid of Netanyahu. That worked in ousting Prime Minister Shamir in the 90s. It worked in defeating Bibi Netanyahu in 1998. The regard with which Israelis hold Obama and the fear they have of the dealing with Iran is such that Bibi Netanyahu won. That's the message. He wasn't speaking out of place in the Congress. He was speaking on behalf of Israelis. And that is what I think Obama is having trouble swallowing. Think about those words, and it's really the truth. We're going to have more, and your calls are appreciated. But right now, I've got to gallop over here to my pile of papers and tell you about our friend, Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And she's located at 1218 9th Street, Unit 2, right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. And that's Mount Harrison Audiology. Yes, did you hear that? I said, did you hear that? Well, if you didn't, you'd better have a hearing screening. I'm going to be going over and having a hearing screening on Monday. I just want to see what it's like and everything, and then tell you more about it. So you call if you're having any hearing problems whatsoever, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Right now here, the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly. Bird flu has struck a third commercial poultry farm in Central California, according to a report posted Wednesday by the World Organization for Animal Health. Some 61,000 turkeys in Merced County were infected by low pathogenic H7N3 virus. The OIE, relaying information provided by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, reported that a tom turkey flock exhibited coughing and a slight increase in mortality March 9th. Bird flu was first detected in the U.S. in a northern pintail duck collected in Whatcom County in Washington in mid-December. Since then, the virus has been found in non-commercial flocks in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. For the Capital Press Ag Minute, this is Brandon Tenner.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West's Ag Weekly.
the Capital Press and CapitalPress.com.
Thank you very much, and brought to you by this hour, Mount Harrison Audiology, with a hearing screening available to you. Call them. Please make an appointment at 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology. Hey, by the way, on Tuesdays, don't forget Dr. History at 10:06. I love that segment, and it's really interesting. I mean, we're like in 100 different countries now, and we've had like over 500,000 hits of people wanting to listen more on some of the repeats. Thank you, Minnecasia Sales, for providing the sponsorship for that half hour. Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main in Burley with Zach and Joanne. They've got it all for you over there. Carpeting and metal siding, and of course all your windows and doors and Tartar Farm and Ranch equipment. Hey, good folks right across from the Burley Airport, Minnecasia Sales in Burley. Well, good morning, caller. How are you?
Great, Zeb. How are you doing?
Well, it's Uncle Dougie.
Only my mother gets away with calling me Dougie.
Oh, well, listen, I just absolutely think the world of your family, and I didn't mean to make an inference against your age and stature, but hello, Dougie. Okay, buddy.
Did you read Mr. Chris Carlson's article?
As a matter of fact, I got to tell you that yours truly had a little bit of a problem this morning, and that little problem was that I couldn't open my eyes, and things seemed to be in the dark for a while, and when it came to reading all of the newspaper, I was in a hurry-up mode and did not.
Well, Mr. Carlson puts Mr. Simpson up on a pedestal and accuses Labrador of grandstanding.
And that is, that's not surprising, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, I only got a half a paper this morning, so I called and complained to the Times News.
Now, wait a minute, Doug. I don't think that's fair, because if you got a half a paper, there were many days I didn't get any at all.
There was a few days I didn't either.
Okay. I will read the article, and I'll make a comment on it on Monday, but you kind of got me at odds here, because I didn't read it.
Did you get a chance to look at that email I sent you?
Very briefly, and I'll be in touch with you sometime this weekend and discuss it.
Okay.
I'm going to be leaving right after the show today for lunch punch, and then I've got to go to Gooding. I'm going to be burning up a lot of the roadways today. Look out. When you see a white pickup coming, step aside.
Step aside.
Okay.
You'll be driving, or?
Yeah, easy, Dougie. All right. See you later, buddy.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I got to ask you this. If you're not doing your work, and the boss comes over and he says to you, Ralph, listen, we have a problem here. You're not maintaining your end of the agreement when I employed you. You're not doing your work. You're not following through. You're really just kind of only going at it with a half-based attitude. What seems to be the problem? Well, I don't care. I'm giving you 50%. The reason I brought it up this way is that in Fairfax, Virginia schools, I heard this yesterday. Now they're not going to give zeros for unfinished work or completely failing a test. What they're going to give them now is 50%. And the way it was stated in the news story that I was listening to, that with the 50%, they can still graduate and get a diploma, and they haven't really done anything or achieved anything. But some of the psychologists, education psychologists, are saying that if we give them a zero, it's going to be damaging to the student's psyche. So the students are going to be getting basically a free ride. I don't have to learn this. I can sit back and clean the lint out of my navel, and they'll still give me 50%. And they can get their diploma from basically not even lifting a pencil or opening up a book. What in the world is the matter with our society? These Spockish doorknob types that have the intellectual capabilities of a worm drying up on the sidewalk on a hot summer day are absolutely destroying a work incentive. The incentive to go and do your best. The incentive to achieve. All right, Jimmy, you failed that test, but now here, what are the problems? Let's study harder. Let's get this figured out. We're just raising a society of, oh, well, that's all right. We'll let you go to the next grade and the next level. That's not the way the world is. That's not the way employment should be. But they're asking people like myself as employers and others to accept mediocrity. And we shouldn't do it. Nobody should. Are we asking too much of these kids today? Are we asking too much of our employees to put forth a good effort when they represent our businesses and they draw their paychecks? Why should we accept mediocrity, or why should we accept 50%? Call me. 436. I want to hear your opinion on this. Now, come on, don't let me down. 436, I almost forgot the number, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on that. While I'm waiting for your calls that I know are coming in, why the lines are burning up, I can see that. I want to remind you about Streamline Precision at 120 South, 100 West of Burley. And the number to call Tim for your estimates on things that you need built, 431-7314. I want to say it again, etch it in your memory, 431-7314. Oh, these folks are good. Let me tell you, they've got all the experience in industrial development, including dairies and feedlots and food processing and other agricultural applications, putting up grain bins for on-the-farm storage. They're an authorized dealer for Sukup, Chief, Balin, and Nucor buildings, doing all the cement work for mangers and feed alleys. What are you waiting for? Give them a call today and find out the estimate price to build on your property. That's right. Call Tim at 431-7314. Nice guy. Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley. You call them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, sir.
You know, you're talking about kids in their grades. It's kind of already teaching them even further, even younger, all in school, that it's okay to be fail. Don't worry. Big brother, the government's going to be there to take care of you.
Yep.
You know, you don't have to apply yourself. You can be lazy. It's all right. It's just another simple chink in their long chain of control that they're weaving.
What kind of a society are we going to have, whether it's Chicago, L.A., Jacksonville, Florida, New York, Washington, D.C., with a 50%, everything's okay, you can pass, get through school, get your diploma, get a job, and only sweep 50% of the floor, only load 50% of the truck, only drive 50% of the route to pick somebody up in a taxi? What kind of a society is that?
Bunch of lazy people. And it's disheartening to hear it. It really is. It really, really is. And being a parent with a child in school, it's really disheartening.
There are people in the audience right now, right this very minute, caller, that are criticizing me because I'm too harsh. They're criticizing me because I'm an achiever. They're criticizing me because I believe that we should put forth our best effort and use the talents that God gave us. And they probably are some of the laziest pond scums that ever tried to tie a pair of shoes.
Okay, well, you know, how many times have you tried really hard? How many businesses have you been successful in? How far have you made your life go from what it was when you were in high school, Seth?
That's right.
And you can go back and you can prove that working hard and putting in the effort makes a difference.
Amen. Amen. And I'm proud and much more happier. Thank you so much for your call.
One other thing. I happened to step away from the radio earlier, and the caller was talking about if the president came to Burley.
Yeah.
Well, you know, in the Constitution, well, I shouldn't say in the Constitution, I heard somewhere a long time ago that we are to honor and respect our president as long as he honors and respects our Constitution. And he has just nothing of the sort. Nothing at all.
And
so why should I honor and respect him?
Yeah, the thing I want to say here is that by not going and by not standing up and applauding in a fraudulent manner, I actually am honoring him with respect, because I would be disrespecting myself, I would be disrespecting my moral values, and I would be disrespecting what I believe in this country if I went there and applauded for a man that I think is absolutely a detriment to this country.
The part about it, anything that comes out of his mouth 90% of the time is just a lie, just a smoke screen, just something to say to appease the people.
I appreciate you. All right, Roddy, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, folks, what do you think about 50% effort, and you get a 50% on your paper for literally not even doing anything, instead of a big fat zero that should tell everybody, hey, it's a wake-up call. Get to work, Jack. I just don't understand this. Call me. Penetron Soil Conditioner by Maisie has a 21-year proven record of increasing yield and quality of all Idaho crops. Yes, it does. Speeding germination, reducing crusting, improving stands, stimulating root growth and microbial activity. Sounds like I'm talking about Superman. And builds soil structure. I'll tell you what, Penetron Soil Conditioner gives faster water infiltration to reduce runoff, and the low-cost Penetron saves 10 to 15% on irrigation water. Penetron treated crops have better roots that reduce stress for water and nutrients. Yup! Increase your crop's performance with a proven soil conditioner, Penetron by Maisie. Get the original, not the cheap imitations, and contact your crop advisor today to obtain Penetron soil conditioner. And also, you can call Adrian Arp at 734-2255 for additional information. Good old boy right there. Hey, real quick, too, Scott Gano. Hello, good old boy Scott Gano, Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, West of Paul. I tell you what, this guy is a good one. Yes, sirree, got a tree and landscape business and sprinkler service. My goodness sakes, if you need your trees properly pruned, you call them at 431-8733. They've been in that business of tree and landscaping and sprinkler service for over 35 years. They do the job. I know because they come over here and help us. I know because they put the sprinkler system in my arena. And it made it easy for me, let me tell you. They do the job. You know, Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 431-8733. All right, give me a call. Come on, what's the matter? Why don't you want to comment on mediocrity? I mean, this is something really serious that I'm afraid is going to be like a plague going all across our country. And this attitude from one of the Spockish types that they had on TV this morning, oh, well, we don't want to damage the student's psyche. Why, if they get a zero, it's going to hurt their mindset. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, I'm a former school teacher who quit teaching so that I could help my husband run a business.
Yes, ma'am.
And I can guarantee you we can't afford employees that only give 50%.
Oh, are you a blessing to hear from this morning? I put you on a pedestal, my dear, because you have been in front of the classroom and now you know what it's like in business. Pray tell me more.
Well, I think it's just setting kids up to fail later in life and to go on welfare later down the road, because if they don't learn to work in school, they're not going to learn to work in life.
Well, wait a minute. Why should they work in school? You know, really, in fairness to these kids, and I think you're going to agree with me as an educator, where's the incentive to work when you know you're going to be able to slide down the bowling alley like a BB down a bowling alley and still get a grade that's going to give you a diploma?
Well, there's absolutely no incentive to work, and that just frustrates me to no end when I hear that, having been on both sides of the both sides of this issue, you know.
Okay, well, let me ask you, and I'm not going to embarrass you and ask the name of the business or anything, but what type of business are you in?
It's a trucking business.
Okay, great. Do you want drivers that only drive 50% of the load to the location and stop in the middle of the location and just say, well, I'm done, I'm not going to give any more effort? You don't want those kind of employees, do you?
No, we don't, and unfortunately we get quite a few like that, but they don't make it very long.
But the problem is, when they work for you, even in a short-term basis, it creates havoc and a lot of adversity for you, the employer, with all the different problems they're going to create and everything. They're representing your business, and they're not doing the job.
That's exactly right. It does. It creates, you know, then we get people that they don't want to work with us with dispatch and things like that, because if we've got these guys that are slacking off, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but really, I hate to say this because it sounds like I'm trying to bend my wrath against, in a way, the students. Well, I'm not. It's their fault, it's their parents' fault, and it's the educator's fault. But when you have kids that are sitting in school looking for, as kids will, the easy way out, and we provide an opportunity for them to pass at a 50% level of work ethic, we've created this and bred this into our society. It'll never go away.
I agree.
Well, yeah. I wish you well, and as a teacher, what can be done as a former teacher? Is there a way out of this abysmal mess, or are we stuck in this quagmire forever?
Well, you know, I know that's kind of why they've adopted the Common Core, is supposedly to prepare workers, and there's a lot that I do not agree with on the Common Core. Yeah. But that's supposedly, you know, to try and prepare kids for the workforce and things like that. But there's a lot of problems there too. So
I totally agree with the way you said that. I've looked at Common Core. I've studied Common Core. I've had guests on this program regarding Common Core. And to be honest with you, my bottom line is I don't like it under the concept, the way it's being presented. And I think there are easier and better ways to incentivize these kids to get up off their dead butts and go to work.
I agree.
Thank you, and God bless you. And I hope your business is 100% successful. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, God bless. Nice lady right there. Holy cow, I got to get the weather in here, and the weather's brought to you by Red's Trading Post at 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Ryan Horsley, the manager. What a nice staff of people they have working there. I guarantee it. You're going to love them. They know all about guns and ammo and accessories, can answer your questions. They are the best. Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. And now here's Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers of Zip of the Ranch. Yeah, it's going to be boring weather for the rest of the week going into the weekend. A lot of sun, very little clouds. I'm going to put out an advisory that you get your sunglasses out because this is going to be bright all the way through the weekend. Now, you start out with daytime highs, 63. By the time you get to Saturday, you should see a high of about 83. Yeah, it's going to warm up. So other than that, nice, boring, sunny weather. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Michael, I love that forecast, but we do need rain. Don't forget, Michael Rogers' weather this hour brought to you by Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Ryan Horsley and the crew at Red's Trading Post. You stop in and see them today. Hey, real quick, don't forget tonight, from 4 to 6, you better believe it, Idaho Department of Labor, 127 West 5th Street North. That's hard to say fast. In Burley, they're going to be taking applications for Dot Foods for drivers, full-time, part-time, team drivers, transfer drivers, warehouse people, full-time and part-time. Oh, man, Dot Foods is growing and they're hiring. Great people. What a team, and that's the word to use. What a team at Dot Foods. Really good people. Put that on your must-do tonight. Go over to the Idaho Department of Labor, 127 West 5th Street North in Burley from 4 to 6 p.m. and turn in your application for Dot Foods. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, no matter how I say this, it's going to come out egotistical or arrogant. I can't help it. I came to Idaho in 1969 with an old, brown, rusty Oldsmobile and nothing except the clothes in the back of the car. And believe me, I was raised in a German family where, you make it on your own or you don't make it. And I started in broadcasting back in 1969 at Clicks Radio in Twin Falls on Eastland and Elizabeth, and starved to death. But I was bound and determined that I was going to make it. And then a couple of years after I'd moved here, I was bound and determined that I was going to make it in the rodeo business as an announcer. And I was bound and determined that I would be the first ever announcer from the state of Idaho to qualify to the national finals. And I did. And I went 6 times. I've done every major finals in the world. That's not boasting. I'm so proud of what God has given me. But let's just say I had that 50% effort attitude. I probably would have left the state of Idaho and gone back to Wisconsin. Probably would have cowered in the corner and said, "Oh, Daddy and Mommy, please take me back in the house. I'm too lazy and too stupid to work on my own." What a pathetic world we're creating. Because we're not making these younger people, the younger generation, get up and realize the God-given talents that they have. And go out and be somebody. Oh, the liberals can't take that. Oh, my goodness, no, we're all supposed to be on the same plane. No, we're not. That is garbage that ought to be thrown in the can and picked up by Western Waste. We have so much talent that God gave each and every one of us, and to waste it is a sin. And to think that people are settling for 50%, that's a crime. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'm off my soapbox for a few minutes. Relax, I'm done chewing on you. Don't forget the Big Spring Tire Sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh my, they have got the best of tires on sale for you, like the Eclipse passenger car tire, all-season traction, advanced design tread, on sale. Check it out. Or the Open Country AT2 pickup and SUV tire, outstanding traction, long-lasting tread, on sale. Oh my goodness, you stop in and visit with the professionals. They know all about tireology. They had to take a course in tireology at college, and they know all about the best tire value promise in the industry, and they've got convenient credit for tires and services at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes in Twin Falls, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, let's see. Oh, last night, I didn't think this was fair. I got to tell you, folks, that when it comes tournament time, I honestly think that neutral sites should be arranged for any and all of the participants that qualify for the big dance, the NCAA March Madness basketball tournament. And I did not think what happened to Boise State last night was at all fair. They drew Dayton in the first round of the NCAA tournament that started last night with 4 teams. And it was played on Dayton's home court. Now, wait a minute. This is the big dance. This is March Madness. This is a chance to play for the national title. And I dare say, I don't think there's another team in the tournament out of all the 60-plus teams that are in that are playing on their home court. But Dayton did. And Dayton came back last night and beat Boise State by 1 point, 56-55. And I just think it was the old terminology, homered. I don't think that's right, especially in the NCAA tournament. Oh, and then talking about National Junior College, CSI, Twin Falls, went back to Hutchinson, Kansas with the attitude, big headline in the paper the other day, we're going to come out the champions. Well, that didn't work so good because they went out in the first round. Georgia Highlands beat them and on a last-second three-point buzzer beater. And so CSI out for the possibility of being the champions of the NJCAA. Now, what we've got coming up next hour on Thursdays, as you well know, we got a whole bunch of things to talk about. We got the Chamber Report with Kay Cameron coming up at 9:06. And then also next half hour, we've got Dog Nation with Officer Mort. And then at 9:30, Rita Ramsey. And then we've got Starving to Death. Later on this morning, I want to comment that at 10:12, we're going to have a gentleman from Cassia County School Systems. And I got to remember, I think he is from White Pine Elementary School. Sometimes the old mind fails me. And his name is Josh Shell, and we're going to be talking to him. And then we're going to have a call-in real quick at 10:23 or thereabouts with Don Scarrow of Scarrow's Meats. But don't miss at 10:30 this morning, and I only wished I had more time with him this morning, and he's going to be talking about Islam, talking about the jihad, and talking about how we're being duped into accepting Muslims and Islam into our society. Robert Spencer is going to be excellent at 10:30 this morning. Until then, we're going to send it back over to Old Wheels at our main station for the CBS News, and we will be back in about 6 minutes. Don't go away. Oh, here we go. Look at that sky out there. I mean, man, I've got spring fever so bad. Oh, my. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell, and we're glad to have you with us, along with our main sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and also some of our great advertisers, like Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and Valleywide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch at Valleywide. We're going to have our visit with Kay Cameron in just a moment over at the Chamber of Commerce. Before we do that, I want to remind you, too, about our dear friend, Joel Heward. And by the way, Joel has been so supportive of our Zeb's Lunch Bunches over the years, and I just want to tell him thank you. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Family place, Joel's family and his staff serving families. That's right, they can travel to rural towns and churches and help you with all the arrangements when there's a passing of a loved one. Always, and I want to really emphasize this, always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. They really care. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-5636. Once again, 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary. And also, real fast, you know that when I get on the program in the morning, the first thing we do right after the pledge is have our weather forecast, and the weather is brought to everybody by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Yup, look for the blue door. Their number to call, too, is 678-6945. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays from 10 to 4. All your items that help make you and your home a real home. Stop in to Cheney Flooring and Home Design in Burley. Well, look who's here. Good morning, pretty lady. How are you? Kay Cameron, Chamber of Commerce.
I'm great. How are you this morning?
How could you look outside and not feel that you just want to run out the door and say goodbye to everybody and just enjoy it?
I know. It is so gorgeous. It's a little chilly, but, man, the river is calm. It's blue. The sky is shining down beautifully on Mount Harrison, and it's a gorgeous day.
I'll bet you the ducks outside your window are just sitting there, and they're just not even paddling underneath the water. They're just floating.
I don't see any ducks.
Oh.
If there were, I'll bet that's what they were doing.
Okay. Well, now that we've gone from Ducks Unlimited over to the Chamber of Commerce, what's going on?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about our women's seminar coming up in April. Our date has been set for April 23rd. It's always a fabulous day for ladies to get out and enjoy the camaraderie with other ladies. We are still looking for vendors that are interested in participating. We have over 50 vendors that usually participate in our seminar. We have a fabulous lineup of speakers for the day. We've got a cooking demonstration by Diane Bevan. Alice Shank is going to be talking about some of her life experiences and all of the things she's involved with. And if anybody knows Alice, knows she's a lot of fun. We're super excited to have Jan Mitleider come. She lives over in the Twin Falls area, and she's very motivational, involved in a lot of different things in the Magic Valley, and it's going to be a fabulous day. It's going to be a lot of fun.
You know, I know her very well, Jan Mitleider. I've known her for years and her husband, and she is a self-starter. I mean, the switch goes on full tilt in the morning when she gets up, whether it's exercise or whatever. She is excellent.
Yeah, she's great. She's been involved, very instrumental in starting some fitness programs for the College of Southern Idaho, the senior fitness programs that they have throughout the region. And she's heavily involved with the arts, and as well as CSI. She's been involved with CSI for many years, still is, and the arts in the region and different things. And so we're very excited to have her come.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a typical Girls Gone Wild.
Absolutely. It's always a great time. All the ladies have a great time. We have a lot of fun. The vendors have a lot of fun. And we just enjoy being able to provide this outing for the ladies in our community.
You did say something that piqued my interest, though. You said there was going to be a cooking exhibition and display. Now, one would assume that if you're going to cook, you're going to really cook and have food that must be tasted.
Yeah, well, I know that there's two cooking demonstrations. The first one is on breakfast and snack ideas. And the later one is dinner and snack ideas. And I don't know any more details than that, but in the past, we've had Diane come before, and she's great. Usually there's samples there provided with recipes, and somebody I was talking to the other day said, well, she did it a few years ago, and she gave us a tip that I still use to this day. I mean, let's make it real, let's make it simple, but great things that people want to use and to eat. So.
Now, you know, of course, that breakfast is my favorite meal of the day, and also in the act of community kindness, I'll more than certainly volunteer to be the taste tester.
Absolutely. Would love to have you come and join us with all these ladies.
Oh, my. I'll tell you, I would be a thorn among roses.
Would love to have you.
What else is cooking over there at the chamber?
Well, a lot of things are starting up. Spring break kicks off. I know Kaja is out of school tomorrow, and I believe all of next week, as well as Minidoka County Schools on spring break. So I just want to say be safe. If you're traveling for spring break, travel safely. And enjoy the time with your kids. But also, as you're out driving, there's going to be kids out and about. We're going to have nice weather. So watch for the kids on the bikes and the scooters and playing in the streets. They shouldn't be playing in the streets, but kids are kids. So just be a little bit more cautious and watch out for those kids. But if you're looking for things to do, come by our office. We've got lots of information, lots of ideas, and we can send you on your way for great staycations if you're sticking around here. I know that's what my kids and I are going to do. We might spend some time down in the Hagerman Valley, possibly go over to the Harrod Center and spend some time over there, probably City of Rocks for an afternoon or a day. I'm going to take a little time off and do some fun things around here. And it's great because we have a lot of great opportunities.
Oh, my goodness. I love that terminology, a staycation. I like that.
Yes.
All right. Well, now, I know there are only 39 different ways to get a hold of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. I'll sit back and put my feet up. Go ahead.
Yes, thank goodness there's only 39 ways. Come by and see us. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Heyburn. Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Find us online at minicashiachamber.com. like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and connect on LinkedIn.
I love that. You do that very well. Thank you, Kay Cameron, Director of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Now, just take it easy and go watch the Ducks.
Yes, I wish.
All right, take care. Thank you. A lovely lady right there with the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Got to pay some bills here, and then we'll take some more of your phone calls. Don't forget, tonight's the big night at 4 o'clock, yes, 4 to 6, at the Idaho Department of Labor, 127 5th Street North. What's going on? Well, they're going to be taking applications for jobs now available at Dot Foods. Ooh, this is a great business, a absolutely great business right here in this area, Dot Foods. We talked to Anthony the other day, and he said, man, we're a team at Dot Foods. They're going to be needing drivers, part-time, full-time team drivers, transfer drivers, and they're going to need warehouse people, full-time, part-time. Dot Foods is growing, and they're hiring. So please don't forget that job fair today at the Idaho Department of Labor, 127 West 5th North in Burley from 4 to 6 p.m. Dot Foods is hiring. Okay, be there. Also, want to remind you, too, about our friends at Let's Ride. Vroom, vroom, vroom. It's that time of the year. This weekend, it's vroom, 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 where the fun is sold. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and Heyburn. You better believe it, Let's Ride. And I'm telling you, they got the Can-Am ATV side-by-sides, rebates for this year. They've got, oh, by the way, if you need a generator to go camping or something, they've got a new shipment of Honda generators over there. And they've just got all the ATVs. I mean, the showroom, just stop in and look left to right, right to left, and go, whoa, which one do I want? You'd better believe it. Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and Heyburn, 436-4771. Yep, that's where the fun is sold. Boy, that's a fun place to go. Nice people there, too. Real quick, too, Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Dean Cameron, Todd Siemens. Life insurance, we all need it. Health insurance, yep. Retirement planning, yep. Employee benefits for your business. Why don't you talk to the pros that really understand and can help you with the information necessary, okay? Call them, make an appointment, 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Really good folks. Got a question for you. I want you to answer this. Remember Bo Bergdahl? Let's go back in our memory. Oh, yeah, the Army soldier from Haley area. Remember the 5 bad guys, really bad guys the Obama administration traded to get him back? Even though they call him AWOL Bo and many other terminologies. You know, why haven't we been told anything as to what's going on with Bo Bergdahl, what's going on with his desertion, what's going on with possibly traitorous activities against the United States from Bo Bergdahl, what's going on now with these 5 really bad guys that are going to be released from any, overseeing in Yemen. They're going to be gone. They get the chance to go home and get back on the battlefield and plot against us. Isn't that a warm, fuzzy idea? And yet, here we have Bo Bergdahl, someplace in Texas, at a desk, working for the Army, getting full pay, and nobody in the military or government is saying anything to you and I, the American taxpayers. What's going on? I mean, I'm not the only one asking these questions. I have been for a long time. But you've got some of the major news journalists in this country that are saying, what's going on? What happened here? Why is Obama covering this up? Which he is, like a cat in the sandbox. What's going on here? Why are we not being told the specifics, the real hardcore, honest facts of what this man Bergdahl did or didn't do, and why Obama released 5 really bad guys back into the world society to possibly kill more innocent human beings. It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And while I'm waiting for your call that I just know is coming in, I have mental telepathy with your phone system. Choked to death on the air. Pardon me. That fly will never, ever fly again. Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley, right next to Dot Foods. Tim Vaughn is waiting for your call for estimates of what you need built professionally. Yes, 431-7314. 431-7314. You call Tim today, tell him Zeb sent you. And right now, boy, now is the time to be putting up that on-the-farm storage with grain bins and your buildings and all your cement work. And by the way, Streamline Precision is an authorized dealer for Sukup, Chief, Balin, Nucor buildings, and boy, they're good for all the mangers and the feed alleys. I'm telling you, this is a business that does A1 work, and they're currently building the new Funk Dairy right over here in Murtaugh. Yep, you get a hold of them today. Call for a bid on what you need for an estimate. That's right, 431-7314. Tim's got the phone in his pocket. He'll answer. He will help you at Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley. You call them today. Got another little deal that I want to run by you. And I think we should do this. You heard me the other day say that the EPA wants to regulate our backyard barbecues. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, folks, I don't care if it involves digging a hole in the ground and putting a barbecue, grill in the dirt. I'm going to do it just to snub my nose at the EPA. But I think we should organize a grill out. I think we should call the EPA and tell them that we are sick and tired of their ridiculous policies that are stepping on our toes and our freedoms, and we should get about 30 or 50 or whatever number of grills and have a humongous Southern Idaho grill out. I mean, they can smell the pork chops from here to Pocatello. That scared me to death. Thank you. The call to the gate. I forgot to turn my phone off. Every time it does that, I jump about 3 feet in the air, which for me is quite a feat, when I honestly, on crutches, only have a 1-inch vertical. Anyway, that's what we need to do, is have a huge barbecue, and we'll take pictures and videos, and we'll send them along with all the hundreds of flags that are in the background, and we'll have Kate Smith playing God Bless America in the background. And we'll send those to the EPA, because I'm sick and tired of being told what I can and can't do. Right now, where in the world all these dogs come from anyway? They're all over the place here this morning. What's going on over here?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Oh, man, we got dogs running here. We got a border collie. We got a dachshund over here. Hey, that dog's not housebroke. Get him out of here. Good morning, Officer Ken Mort with Minidoka Animal Control. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing great today. How are you?
Well, look at the weather and answer the question for yourself.
Well, other than it being chilly, Annette, the first thing this morning, it's not too bad of a day.
Other than it's being chilly. Here's a big, tough, former military veteran. No, other than it's chilly. What's the matter with you?
Hey, I'm still out there in it. It don't bother me.
All right. Now, Officer Ken Mort knows everything there is to know about canines. What's happening?
Well, I have nobody to feature again this week. Annette, we've got everything Holmes, Annette, other than what I picked up yesterday, which we have to hold for our 5 days. I picked up a Great Pyrenees, Annette, over here just west of Rupert, about probably a year and a half, 2 years old, very sweet, loving dog. Mm-hmm. Picked up a red border collie yesterday as well. Day before, I picked up a long-haired dachshund.
Oh, wait a minute. Stop the bus, Gus. I have never heard of a long-haired dachshund.
They look exactly like your regular dachshunds, except for they've got the long hair on them.
Are they crossed with something special or what?
No, it's just the way they are. They actually have 3 different breeds of dachshunds that I know of right now. They've got what they call your standard dachshund, your long-haired dachshund, and then they've got what they call a dapple dachshund, which is a multicolored dachshund. It's kind of like a red, a brown, and kind of a tan color.
You're kidding me.
And they're almost spotted like a Dalmatian.
I had never heard that. And are they all over the United States?
We get them in every once in a while, not real often, but I mean, there's my aunt and uncle have got 3 of them, and they just love them to pieces.
Why don't they call them Appaloosa dachshunds?
A good question.
Oh, okay.
But if anybody's missing their dogs, make sure you guys are getting a hold of your local animal control, because we may just have them. I mean, we're constantly out picking stuff up. I started off this week with only 1 dog in the facility, and I'm up to 11 now.
You know, it drives me a little bit to the mad side to think, and I mean this in all cases of all animals, whether it's horses, whether it's a dog, kitty, cat, well, cats are exceptional. Anyway, it bothers me how people don't take care of their animals, and all of a sudden they're missing, and they're in your care, and people are not coming down to the shelter, they're not calling the police, they're not getting your number, they're not trying to find out where their animals are, and it shows to me a complete lack of respect for owning the animal in the first place.
It does. I mean, if you're going to be a pet owner and stuff, be a responsible pet owner. I mean, they need all the care and loving, just like your own kids do. So make sure you guys, if you're thinking about becoming a pet owner, look at it as adopting a child. I mean, it's something that you're going to have to be responsible for and take the responsibility for and care for.
So how are things going for the new shelter, my friend?
We're slowly getting there. We've actually, with what I'd mentioned last week from Alaska's Best and the Rupert Elks, along with a couple other donations that we've received, we've raised just about $400 towards the $10,000 on our being able to get our kennels. We're still in need of that. If anybody's interested in donating to help with us purchasing kennels, they can contact us at the facility at 438-2200, or can call me on my cell phone at 670-7268, or they can even go into the Rupert City Hall, go up to the ladies up there at the front desk, say, I would like to make a donation to the animal control for helping purchase kennels. They designate what they want their donation to go for, and they will make sure that that's exactly what it goes for, and we will use it for nothing else.
Hey, I got a great idea for you, and it just hit me like a bolt out of the blue. Why don't you go and get the cost of the entire kennel figured up, and then go to people or businesses, and then sell them and put a name tag on the front of the kennel, like this is sponsored by so-and-so, so that every time that's used and people go in there, they see their name.
You know, we've actually discussed that, and it's something that we've actually thought about really doing and putting it out there as well. Is if you're wanting to purchase Annette a kennel, Annette, and have your name put on it, we would love it. I mean, we've talked about putting Annette this kennel sponsored by the business names or the individual's name if it's just an individual that's wanting to purchase a kennel. So I mean, we are open to that as well. So I mean, anybody and everybody is welcome to help us out.
You know, I ought to buy one because I'm in the doghouse all the time anyway.
It'd be your home away from home.
Yeah, no, it would be my primary source of home.
Well, I wasn't going to be that cruel to you.
Well, you know, sometimes open mouth, insert foot. Anyway, anything else you want to tell us about Minidoka Animal Control this morning?
Just remember stuff, Annette, like Kay was saying just a little while ago, next week is spring break. Annette, make sure that when your kids are home, Annette, that they're not letting your dogs loose and everything. Make sure that they're keeping the dogs secured as well, because I know kids like to go out for walks or go play in the park and take the dogs with them and just turn them loose. Idaho does have a leash law, Annette, throughout the entire state. So make sure you guys are keeping your dogs on a leash and while out and about with them, and they're not running loose.
You know, I saw something, and it looked funny when I saw it happen, but unfortunately, I think the young man was injured a little bit with some road rash and everything else. But I was driving through Twin Falls a couple of weeks ago, and it was beautiful weather, nice and warm, and here goes this kid about maybe 11 or 12 years old on a bicycle, and he had his dog on a leash. And all of a sudden, the dog saw another dog, and the dog wanted to go west while the kid was going north. And it made a wreck almost equal to what you see at the 6 o'clock news.
Oh, yeah, it's not really advised to be trying to take a dog for a walk while you're on your bicycle.
No, not at all, unless it's a little bitty dachshund that you are not going to have to worry about him pulling the bike out of the original course.
Exactly. That's when you get a basket and just put him in the basket and take him for a ride.
Oh, yeah, good, so that when you crash, so does the dog. Really, okay. Anything else with Minidoka Animal Control? Officer Mort on the air.
Just if anybody's interested in donating, we can still use food, blankets, all sorts of bedding, towels, whatever. People are getting ready to do their spring cleaning.
Yep.
On that, they go through and start finding those items, or even old collars and leashes that they no longer need. Get a hold of us. We'll take anything and everything that we can for donation.
All right, you did a great job as always. Officer Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control, thank you. Where'd all these dogs come from anyway? Yeah, boy. They're all over. A dachshund with spots. I didn't know that. Hey, by the way, don't forget Bad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert, Nicole and Alex, and what nice people they are, and they can do all your business promotional items. Oh, man, I told Nicole 2 months ago I was going to get over there and get everything set up for my caps and my sweatshirts and everything. Yeah, big me, I didn't get it done yet. I got to get back over there and take care of it. They do a wonderful job, and don't forget, too, they've got all the employee recognition awards, the plaques and everything. By the way, the plaques are 25% off this month. You check it out with Nicole and Alex. They do a phenomenal job at Mad River Laser, right on the square, 502 East Street in Rupert. Oh, my. Good morning, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good. How are you?
I don't quite know how to answer that question because I was so frustrated at watching the news last night and then again this morning about Obama and Netanyahu, and I said earlier this morning, I hope you heard me, that the bigger man, the man who is really providing leadership, the man that is really standing up for his people, and the man that I think should be honored for the way he's treated this whole situation is not our president, it's Netanyahu. Would you agree?
Oh, yes. And, it's really quite sad to think that all the news media was just almost giddy about Netanyahu's going to lose, and they just covered it 24/7 for a couple of days before, and he's going to lose, he's going to lose, he's going to lose. And once it was all over with and they were wrong, you haven't heard very much about it, have you?
Rita, bottom line, and I've had many, many people call with their own reasons as to why people don't like Israel or Netanyahu or the Jewish community, and none of them make a whit's worth of sense. I just absolutely think that this hatred is unfounded. Why? Why is there this animosity from Obama, this administration, to our number one ally that we need and they need us?
Well, I think it just comes down to the ideology. Obama was raised in a world where they probably weren't overly friendly to Jewish people. I don't really know if he's anti-Semitic or not, but it seems to me that he doesn't care for the Jews. He doesn't like Netanyahu, that's for sure. But it makes me wonder if he doesn't like Netanyahu mostly because he's a leader. And he's the one who's standing up, being the adult in the room, and it makes Obama look less of an adult.
I think there's a word that I want to insert right there, and I think you will concur. The word is jealousy. I think Obama, because of his shortfallings in his personality and his egotistical, pompous attitude, self-centered attitude, is absolutely jealous of Netanyahu. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. And the win with him, and I was thinking, how could he lose? How could those people not be smart enough
to see that he's trying to keep them safe. And nothing else matters if you're not safe. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you've got a good economy or anything else. Nothing else matters if you're not safe, because you're going to be gone. And I honestly think that God had a hand in the way that election ended up. Those people woke up and thought, holy cow, we're in a fight for our life. We better get the guy who's going to keep us safe.
Well, no, right there is a point that needs to be elaborated on, because Netanyahu has come right out and said many, many times when he was rerunning for this position that he would never adhere to or abide by a Palestinian state, nor would he or Israel be subject to the whims of Iran with nuclear weapons. And I think, honestly, those two statements alone have created a hatred from Obama, because he's not in control anymore. He's not basically pointing at Netanyahu and telling him what to do. It's the other way around.
Yeah, I think that Obama just figured that he was king and he could keep Netanyahu out, and he has treated him. I mean, early on with President Obama in the White House, he treated Netanyahu like a second-class citizen and like, what are you over here bugging me about? Just get out of here. Take the back door. And then for his people, some of his advisors and staff and different people to call Netanyahu the names that they called him, I mean, so that people in the media could hear it, is just beyond me, the disrespect. He would never say that kind of stuff to the people that he likes.
Well, it was said last night, and then I caught some of the excerpts again this morning, that it's a proven fact that when they look back at some of the verbiage and they look back at some of the comments that Obama's made regarding other people, like even Russia's Putin, he has been much more amenable and nicer to them than he has been to Israel.
Oh, absolutely, and I think it's because he's headed more down their trail than he is the trail of conservatism or, country and doing the things that you do. I mean, when you're the leader of a country, you swear that you'll uphold the Constitution and keep them safe, and Obama has done neither.
Rita, a lot of people probably won't agree with this statement, but this is the way I feel. I think all of us that are Christians realize that Armageddon and the final battle for this world is very likely to take place in that position of the world with Israel and expand out to other countries from that point. And I think that right now we are tinkering with the end days because of this frivolity of this President Obama not understanding that as a world leader, we are the number one country. We are the sheriff of the world, because without us, all these other crackpots are going to try to take over. Do you agree or disagree?
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. And the other thing about it is we've got all these people who, the big thing is we can't be the policeman of the world. We can't be the policeman of the world. Well, you know what? When we have the biggest economy and the freedom, we have to be the policeman of the world, because we have to keep countries from overtaking all the smaller countries that are around them. I mean, we should be doing something to try and stop Putin. I mean, he's on a roll, and he's going to keep going. You just wait and see. It won't stop where it's been. They've got other plans, and they'll keep going. And as long as we don't stop them, who's going to stop them? And they can just keep knocking over countries and taking up the land and everything else, and putting them all under their control. And we have to be somewhat of the police. I'm not saying that we have to send troops everywhere and take care of everything, but Ronald Reagan, he did peace through strength. And if you're strong and you let him know, don't mess with us, you'll keep peace, and you'll have the strength that you need to make others lay back and say, we better not do anything while he's in. And we've got just quite the opposite with Obama. They all know we don't have any strength, and so it's kind of like, let's do whatever we had in mind.
Yeah. I want to shift gears and change to another subject because I personally think, and I thought about this and I thought, okay, now wait a minute, Zeb, before you stick both oars in the water from the boat and commit yourself to saying it's a really big deal, you better think about this a little bit. And I've read everything I could, I've listened to everything I could, I've looked at the news reports regarding Hillary and these emails, and I am convinced, and yes, I'll say it up front, Democrats, I don't like Hillary Clinton. Democrats, I don't want her to see the White House ever again unless she pays for a tour. But I've looked at this situation, and it really is ominous to me that Hillary Clinton, and her people were really in charge of discerning what emails were public, what emails were private, and she erased them. And what really bothers me, she didn't like Barack Obama, and he didn't like her. How are we to know that she wasn't making private deals with other countries and other leaders and skirting the President of the United States?
Well, I think we have somewhat proof of that with her account where they built that that trust deal with the Clintons for charity. She's got all kinds of money from those kind of countries that she shouldn't have been even in touch with other than just negotiating with them, and yet they've donated millions of dollars to that trust. Well, you know what that was for. That wasn't because they just think that she had a good charity that they needed to do. It was speak money.
You know, I want to ask you this. Now, I'm sure that you have friends that are of different political beliefs. I don't know if you have any Democratic friends or not. The Democrats have come after me only when I'm off the air and anonymous calls. But when these friends might say, oh, well, we think Hillary is so fantastic, how do you respond and try to tell them, dear person, what has she done and what are her capabilities?
Well, that's just it. They don't have any answers. All you can say is just list me. You know, Bill O'Reilly did a pretty good job of it. Tell me one thing that she accomplished. Nobody can tell anything. Well, you know what, and even about the president. But with Hillary, she has no record of accomplishing anything. She skirted around the Benghazi thing after they made up a bunch of lies about how they would, handle it with the news media, and hopefully it would die and they wouldn't have to worry about it. She totally skirted it. She's got all of those things from when Bill Clinton was the president, and she was, hooked up to all kinds of scandals in her Hillary care and various different things that all failed. She doesn't have any kind of a record. She didn't do anything as a senator for New York. She basically just bided her time, and I'm popular, and we get the name out, and there's recognition and everything there, but she has no accomplishments, and I would be surprised if anybody could come up with any, because I certainly can't, and I think that that's just the way that you combat them, is to say, list her accomplishments. Why would she be a good president?
But lo and behold, guess who is lurking out in the weeds, waiting to have his name called forth? There are some Democrats that are a little bit worried about Hillary's status. They're worried that she might have shot herself in the foot. And lo and behold, here comes Fatty Arbuckle. Oops, excuse me, I said the wrong name. Al Gore is lurking.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of scary. I can't imagine in my wildest dreams why they'd be figuring that he would be somewhat of a force to be reckoned with, because I just can't imagine it. And, I think that maybe they're saying, well, we want to resurrect our favorite thing, and that's global warming and how important it is, and we've got to do it. But you and I and anybody with a brain in their head should know that the global warming thing, and we all know this, is only about money. It's not about our planet or taking care of it. If they were concerned about that, they would be harping all over China and some of the countries that are just horrible when it comes to, emissions and that type of thing. It's simply about money, and they just want to get that back as their number one thing, and I'm not so sure that Soros isn't the one who's put Al Gore up there and said, hey, let's get him in there and see if we can't push him some, because he is not concerned about our world.
He's concerned about pumping money into his pocket. That's what the cap and trade is all about. Cap off, you can only use so much energy, and by the way, it's going to be 20% than it was, less than it was before. And you pay me money, and you can use more. That's all it is them pocketing money.
But you know something, and I've thought a lot about this. Caller, stand by. I'll be right with you. I want to make this point. I've thought a lot about this, and when you look at what the EPA is doing on a daily basis to come out with more encroachment on our daily lives, like telling us that we can't have our backyard barbecues, or telling us that when we take a shower, we've got to cut down on the time in the shower. Little by little, when you look at the George Soroses and you look at the Steyers and all these big money people, they would buy the election for the likes of Al Gore. Would you agree or not?
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing is it's all about control. And you just stop and look at how much control they've taken of our lives. They tell us what kind of toilets we can have, how much water can be in them. They tell us what kind of fabric we can have on our bed sheets. They tell us everything, whether we can drive specific cars or not, or all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. Every time we turn around, they have given us edicts. This is what you will do, and they've been adopted by somebody who probably isn't really legal, like the EPA. And we must do it. It's all about control, them being in control, and us bowing down and paying for it.
All right, caller, I'm going to take your call, but I'm going to limit it to 30 seconds because I've got to get a weather forecast in here. Go quickly, please.
Well, speaking of Al Gore and global warming, in the last 10 years, there has been no change of the amount of fossil fuels used to run the world. 87% is fossil fuels, and it hasn't changed for 10 years. And the amount of money that has been spent on solar and wind is just alarming, and it hasn't done a thing. There's absolutely no way it's ever going to change. This is an article out of the Wall Street Journal that says this, and that global warming is truly a hoax. And so it's just another little bit of information. Thanks.
Thank you, Randy, and I appreciate that. Response, please, Rita.
Oh, he's absolutely right. There hasn't been even a temperature degree. I think it's like 3/4 of a temperature degree is all that's different in the overall. Well, there's no need to be alarmed.
Let me just jump in here quick before the weather. Actually, for the last 18 years, people like the Weather Channel and many others, and also the gentleman that I had on my program last week, and I'm trying to remember his name. I'm looking at my sheet here, trying to remember. And he used to work with NASA, Space Administration, and he has written many, many books. For the last 18 years, the planet has been going into some severe cooling areas and sessions and temperature losses, and we are going into what many, many scientists all across the world that work for major universities are saying, a new ice age. So all this is a 7-letter word. You've said it already. I've said it already. It's control, Rita.
That's right. You know, when I was in high school, it was global cooling. We're going to freeze to death, and the Earth is going to freeze over, and da-da-da-da-da. And now how has it evolved to global warming? It's just that they just kind of go along with whatever's doing, so it makes them look like they're right, and it's just about control.
Stand by just a minute. Let me get the weather forecast in here, and the weather's brought to everybody by Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center at 382 North Overland in Burley. Wonderfully nice people and very, very qualified. Your health is their number one priority, and they know that being sick or hurt isn't convenient, so they do the best they can to make your health care convenient for you. Minor emergencies, major care. They will see you today. Don't forget to call them at 678-6996. That number again, 678-6996. Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center, 678-6996. You call them today. Here's Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from Zip of the Ranch. Yeah, it's going to be boring weather for the rest of the week going into the weekend. A lot of sun, very little clouds. I'm going to put out an advisory that you get your sunglasses out because this is going to be bright all the way through the weekend. Now, you start out with daytime highs, 63. By the time you get to Saturday, you should see a high of about 83. Yeah, it's going to warm up. So other than that, nice, boring, sunny weather. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. Brought to you by our friends, and they really are there to serve you. Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center, 382 North Overland in Burley. Like I've said, minor emergencies, but major care. 678-6996. Rita, we talked about Hillary, and we've talked about Obama and Netanyahu. But there's another subject I wanted to mention for the remaining portion of our time here this morning, and that is that as of in the next 48 hours or so, the really bad guys, the 5 bad guys that we traded for Bo Bergdahl, they are totally going to be released. I mean, they're not going to have any overseement whatsoever. They're all going to be gone out into the public and wreak hazard again. The 5 bad guys for Bo Bergdahl, and yet we, the American people, we haven't been told anything. We haven't seen any charges filed. We haven't found out whether Bergdahl really is a traitor. We know he's a deserter, and he's still somewhere at a post at a desk, and nobody's saying anything. What's going on here?
Well, it's just, we're going to have everything open and transparent, and everybody's going to know everything, and you're not going to have to worry about us like the old Bush administration that hid everything. Yeah, that's what it is. They're just doing their par for the course. But they're just going to hide everything and do things to what they want, and he let those terrorists go, using Bergdahl as a pawn and a reason to let them go. And all he was trying to do is get them out of Gitmo and make somebody happy. We even paid them tons of money. I don't know exactly how much. There's questions of if there wasn't even billions given to the terrorists to take the terrorists. But it's just a bad deal, and nobody has stood up and said you can't do it or anything else strong enough to make anything happen.
I had a call, and this has been, way back in January, and I'll never forget, the anonymous voice got on the line on my cell phone and said, "Leave Bo Bergdahl alone. He served our country. He wore the uniform of the United States Army. Leave him alone." Wait a minute. A lot of really great soldiers served our country. A lot of really great people served in every capacity in every branch of the military. And not all of them decided to walk away from their post one night and have their goodies sent home to their girlfriend and or whomever and went to the enemy. This man did, and I want to know why.
Well, I don't know what his reasons were for leaving, whether he was a coward, whether he just got tired of it, whether he was raised that way and wanted to prove a point. I don't really know. But one thing I do know is that when they answer, well, we don't leave anybody behind. That's our policy. And you've heard Obama say that numbers of times. My question is, so what about Benghazi?
Absolutely. Real quick, I know there's an event going on tonight that you would like to highlight, so go ahead, please.
Yes, we're having a free trade speaker come tonight. His name is Arthur Thompson. You had him on his show yesterday. And he is a guru when it comes to knowing the ups and downs of what the free trade agreements are and how they want to have these mergers and how there are so many things attached to them. If it was just the free trade and they could take it on this is one paragraph and we'll go through and say okay, but it doesn't. It has all kinds of things hooked up to it. It's got things like climate change. Hello, imagine that. Mm-hmm. Sustainable development, which is Agenda 21. Homeland security, military and international courts, and numbers of other things. And I'm just encouraging anybody that doesn't know all of this information to come and listen to it. It's not going to cost you anything, just a couple of hours of your time. Learn about it so that you can get a hold of your congressmen and senators and give an opinion about it, because if we don't pay attention to this, this is just one more encroachment that the federal government is going to take, and they're giving away our sovereignty.
You would agree, I think, with me that every time I hear the term free trade agreements, I want to gather up all my stuff and run. I don't trust that statement.
Well, I don't either. And, free trade was supposed to be a good thing, the one that we had with NAFTA, and it worked out good for everybody but the United States.
Now, this meeting tonight, a lot of people may not know exactly how to get to the location. I'll let you amplify that a little bit, please.
Okay, it's going to be it's actually at the south end of the Burley High School, which is on Park Avenue and 21st Street.
So if you come on Main Street, going west to Park Avenue, just turn and go south, and you'll end up going, it's probably about 12 city blocks, and you'll be there. Anyway, it's off of 21st Street and Park. So if you have any questions, you can call me at 678-0459. I can help you to get there.
Okay, it starts at 7 o'clock and no admission fee, and very interesting with Arthur Thompson.
Yes.
All right. Rita, great job today. God bless. Hope a lot of people turn out, and we will talk to you next week.
Okay, thanks, Eb.
Thank
Bye.
you. Take care. Lovely lady, Rita Ramsey, and I appreciate having her on my program. Oh, man. I don't know how Wheels is over at the station, but I am so hungry this morning. That little bowl of cereal, cold, sticky in the throat cereal at 4 a.m., I'm hungry and starving to death. But I have some answers, and the answers are some of these great places to go, like the Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Oh, did you hear? Did you hear? They've got the breakfast burritos, scrambled eggs with either bacon or sausage or both, cheese, onion, tomato sauce, all on a tortilla shell. Oh, at Taco Bandito, along with the spicy chicken bacon ranch burger and the southern baked burrito. What are you waiting for? Get over to Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland Avenue in Burley. And then how about not one, but two locations of Burgers Etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. And they've got corn dogs and burritos only 99 cents after 3 p.m. What? Only 99 cents after 3 p.m.? Yep, that's right. And all the delicious burgers and bacon burgers and salads, and oh my goodness. And every Sunday at the Burley location, they got shrimp dinner special. You are going to love, absolutely love Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. Well, how about Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn? Food made the way you like it. And they were voted to have the best French fries by the best of the Mini-Cash area. You better believe it. And one of my favorites over there is the steak sandwich, or the pork chops with salad and choice of potatoes. Lip-smacking good. Friendly servers, dedicated staff. You're going to love Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. You stop in and see them today. And last but not least, I had to swallow because I'm so hungry. I want to take you on a tour of the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley, and they've got, of course, the famous Farmer Brown burgers. And listen to this new item, brand new item, and it's really, really good. The country fried steak on a bun. Oh, your tummy is saying yummy. You better believe it. Hey, that rhymed. And it's served on the large Farmer Brown bun with the signature white sauce and lettuce and Swiss cheese. Oh, it's great. You better stop in and check out all the great food items on the menu at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Wow, and am I. Oh, real quick, a reminder, and that's coming up tonight from 4 to 6 p.m. It's the job fair at the Idaho Department of Labor. Don't miss it, 4 to 6 p.m. this afternoon at the Idaho Department of Labor, and they're going to be hiring and taking applications for more great folks, more great positions at Dot Foods. Drivers, full-time, part-time, team drivers, transfer drivers, warehouse people, full-time, part-time. Dot Foods is growing and they're hiring. Great business, and it's a team. Anthony told us that the other day. I love that attitude. So get to the Idaho Department of Labor this afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m. with your applications at 127 West 5th Street North in Burley. It's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of good jobs available. Okay, we are going to wrap it up and put it back in the box just for this hour, and then we're going to come back, and we got a whole bunch of things next hour. Cassia County School Days, Josh Shell, many other people, so don't you go away. Zebeth Ranch, I'll be back in 6 minutes. Oh, my goodness, here we go. hour number 3. My, this morning has gone by fast. Good morning. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Lush Swamp Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And also some of our great advertisers, including Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and our friends at Valleywide Home and Ranch. Chick Days are here, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch at Valleywide Home and Ranch. Oh, my goodness sakes. We're going to have our guest with us in just a few minutes for the Cassia County School Days, but I got some things to take care of here real quick. I want to remind you what's going on at the Chadwick Sports Grill today, 139 West Main in Burley. Oh, does this sound good? Southwest pork burritos, topped with lettuce and tomato, and served with super salad. That sounds delicious. Southwest pork burritos at the Chadwick Sports Grill. You stop in. Always great specials and great menu items. Nice people. You're going to love the environment at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Really good folks. Oh, by the way, too, I want to remind you that everybody's got some aches and pains, and maybe you're recovering from some surgery. Maybe you've had some problems with your knees or whatever. Let me tell you about the Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I am really high on these people. Why? Well, because they're helping me. They are the only physical therapy and rehabilitation in the area that's got a hydrotherapy pool with the treadmill in the bottom of it. Oh, I mean, make you work, make you feel better. And they've got great people there. Yep, Nick Greenwell and all the folks over there at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I'm on a roll. 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And all the sports medicine, all the exercises, like I said already, that hydrotherapy pool, and they help you get back to being you. All right. Call them. Please make an appointment. 678-1191. 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Nice people. I wanted to tell you, too, that coming up at 10:30, just a reminder, and I'm going to ask him right up front if we can have a reschedule for another longer segment. I'm very honored to have Robert Spencer come on the program this morning at 10:30. Don't miss it, because he's going to be talking about Islam and how they're trying to force Sharia law and other activities with Islam into the United States, so don't miss it. I think right now we're going to go ahead with our Cassia County School Days, and somebody's walking down the hall. I hope it's my wife. There she is. And very honored to have Cassia County School Days on our program, brought to you by 2 sponsors, and that's, of course, A Child's World and Ambulatory Surgery Center. Now, at A Child's World, they just celebrated their 12th birthday. 12th birthday. Happy birthday to you. And they've got all the spring dresses, and they've got all the little boys' suits and everything, and they got the medical scrubs and the shoes and the family games and puzzles. Please, don't just say, hey, do what I'm telling you to do, but just go in there and check out all that they have for you and your family at A Child's World. 1308 Overland in Burley. And then, very seriously, I recommend the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. And believe me, they have saved patients literally thousands of dollars. And they have every month over 100 procedures, and for 14 years they have saved patients money with outstanding care at Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland. Number to call and get information, 677-8888. There you go. A Child's World, Ambulatory Surgery Center, bringing you school days in Cassia County. Let's go over to Wheels at our station and see if our guest, Josh Shell, has called in. Mr. Shell, are you there?
I am, sir.
Well, it's nice to have you on the program. Josh, were you on this program before?
I was. I believe it was either last year, at the beginning of the year, or maybe the spring before, but talking about technology.
Okay. Now, you're not on the speakerphone, are you?
I'm on my on my phone, speakerphone in the office here.
No, let's get off the speakerphone and go on a direct mouthpiece because it echoes too much. So if you, do you have to call back?
I think we're okay. Let me go ahead and...
Okay.
You good there?
Yeah, just don't ever use a speakerphone. I'll send a little hand grenade over and we'll blow it up, okay?
No problem.
Okay. Josh, you're at White Pine Elementary, and we're going to be talking about parent-teachers conferences, and spring break is this next week, and the kids are planning on summer vacation and everything, but what about parent-teachers conferences? Are you seeing a lower or a kind of a status quo number or a higher number of parents getting involved and coming to talk to teachers about their kids?
You know, traditionally the spring conferences, we see a lower number of parents coming in, and I think it's mainly because most of our parents have come in and spoke with us or communicated with us well throughout the year, or at least in the fall conference. You know, and the other part about it is it's right before spring break, and a lot of families try to kickstart their vacations a little early, or, you know, and it's just life. Everybody has stuff going on, and we really try to encourage our parents to come visit with their child's teacher and help us communicate better on how to better teach them and instruct them.
All right, now let me ask you this. Is it mostly moms, or do you see a lot of the dads show up to ask questions?
Boy, I tell you, it's kind of fixes either way. I think most of the time you do see a lot of the moms coming in, but we've had a pretty good population of dads that have come into our parent-teacher conferences over here at White Pine, and I'm not sure how it is in the outlying communities. This is a tough time for farmers as the weather's getting nicer. They're getting out, so I would imagine we'll see a few less fathers, but you know, either one, I think, as long as we get some parents that are involved in their child's education is great.
Wouldn't you agree? And I'm looking back eons ago when I was in school, and unfortunately a lot of times that the parents went to a parent-teachers conference was when their youngster was in trouble or only getting bad grades. Isn't that really the reason for going sometimes?
You know, I think that's kind of the misconception sometimes, honestly. I think teachers have so much going on their plate, and especially this new transition, we won't get into it, but the new way, or the new standards that are out, and we've got new testing, and you know, like I said, we don't want to get into that, but there's a lot of different things that we're working on, and every child is different, so teachers are pulled 28 to 30 different ways most times. But you know, it's good to see the parents come in and we can talk about those, about the good grades and the good things going on, and just kind of reinforce that village to raise a child type of mentality, because we're here to pick up where the parents leave off and vice versa, and make sure that we are right in tune with what's going on at home.
I think, and again, going back to when I was in school, especially in high school, we had a guidance counselor that wasn't much of a guidance counselor. He couldn't even find the door out of his office. But, you know, I think that parents should be aware, hey, Johnny or Susie are doing outstanding in math, or Johnny and Susie want to be and are the class leaders. I think parents ought to hear the good things as well as maybe the bad.
Oh, I would agree with you, Zeb. It's unfortunate that everybody's so busy these days, and as teachers, we sure try to reach out to parents when their students are doing well, and unfortunately, sometimes it's just as, you know how it is, everybody gets busy, and I wish we were all better about it. But yeah, it is good. Parents do need to know that their child's doing well, and that they're being a good student, and the things that they're working on, because you know, as much as we try to keep them accountable and doing well at school, it's nice also if you, as parents out there, can fill in right where we leave off at home. You know, if there's a mini math lesson, you know, you can give your child a chance to shine at a grocery store, or you know, somewhere where you can just say, hey, what's this going to be? And it really lets them gain some confidence and really shine to you as the parent, when they're not in school, because sometimes that's the only place they really get to shine with their education is here at school.
I have an opportunity over the last 20-some-odd years to speak to a lot of schools and do a lot of graduation and commencement exercises. And one issue that I think is being overlooked today, and Josh, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, it's great to talk about their academics. It's great to tell everybody about what they're doing as far as class president or valedictorian or whatever else. But you know what? I think those parent-teachers conferences are really good to maybe help diffuse some of the bullying and some of the attitude problems that are going on in the class.
Oh, I would agree with you. A lot of times, especially now we've gotten into social media influence, that almost everybody's got a smartphone, or they're on a Facebook, or they're on some sort of social media site. And the problem is a lot of people, when they read that, the tone on the internet is so aggressive or alarming at times, and that kind of takes away from that face-to-face or that verbal communication with the teacher and the parent. And it's too easy not to speak to each other with that social media. And it sure would be nice to make sure we do get to the bottom of things and eliminate a lot of those bullying and those issues at school by simply communicating. And I'll be one to admit, I wish I could communicate better with all my parents daily. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's just not applicable, but other times it really is, and we all need to be better, parents and teachers alike.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, because I think if you listen to this program at all, you know my feelings about education and what needs to be done and what should be thrown out. I don't think, and this is my own personal opinion, I'm not lumping everybody into the same category, but I think in general that our expectations of our children and their education and their success has been minimized today. I don't think we're making and creating bigger doors of opportunity. Would you agree or disagree?
I think a couple of years ago, Zeb, I would have agreed with you. But I think the transitions, again, a lot of people disagree with Common Core because there's a lot of misconceptions.
I do disagree with certain aspects of it. I want to be honest and upfront about that.
Yeah, and I understand that, and we all agree and disagree with certain aspects of different things. But I think you're going to see a trend here, Zeb, and I think that's kind of the goal, is to create a higher bar for students to reach and to really challenge them so they're ready for the career world, and to move on to, that go on to go to college and be more successful, or be ready to be successful, I guess.
Well, Josh, how do you respond?
Transition that way, but I would agree with you. I don't think the bar was set very high, in past years.
Well, let me ask you this, and I just talked about this story this morning, and you know me, I'm pretty blunt. In Fairfax, Virginia schools, now they're not going to give out zeros anymore. They're just going to give a 50%. Whether they apply themselves, whether they pass a test or not, whatever, the students are going to get what they call a 50%, and they can still graduate with that 50%. Well, like I stated the first hour, what are you going to do? Become a truck driver and only drive 50% of the route? What are you going to do? Are you going to become a gas station attendant and only fix 50% of the tire? I mean, this is ludicrous. We need to start going for excellence in this country like it used to be, and I cannot stand anything less.
Well, Zeb, you and I come from that tough love background. Obviously, we kind of see eye to eye when it comes to that. The problem with zeros is it's, if something outside of education happens, and this is where my teaching experience comes in. If something unexpected happens at home with the family, there is an emergency, or there's something going on, and a kid gets a zero for some reason, or he just kind of drops the ball. 1 0 out of 6, 7, 8, 10 assignments could really affect them. But I agree with you. It's tough to let them get away with 50% of the work, but I think the thought process behind that is a little different than giving them 50% credit for doing nothing. I think there's a little bit more in depth there.
Well, I go along with possibly the concept of maybe an incomplete, but I'm certainly not going to give them 50% for not doing a doggone thing.
Yeah, I like the incomplete. I think that helps out, make them be accountable, and really be responsible for their work and their future.
All right. You know, Josh, I enjoyed the conversation. You got to promise to come back and talk to us in the future from White Pine Elementary. Is there anything else that I overlooked or didn't mention that you want to talk about quickly?
You know, Zeb, I'd like to hit back on the social media thing. I really think it's important to, don't believe everything you read on the internet or social media outlets. It's imperative that we communicate, parents and teachers alike.
I agree.
And I think that, a lot of times it's easier said than done, but picking up that phone and making a phone call or coming in and meeting face-to-face is always better than just blogs and reading things online.
Amen.
I encourage parents to come meet with their teachers.
I agree. I enjoyed the conversation, and as I said a moment ago, Josh, come back in the future. I'll look forward to it.
Hey, appreciate you, Zeb.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Josh Shell from White Pine Elementary. Parent-teachers conferences, very, very important. Thank you very much. And brought to you by our friends at two locations, A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, and the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. Thank you very much. Hey, we're almost going to get Don Scarrow on the phone here in just a moment. I want to remind everybody, too, about Streamline Precision. They can build anything and build it right. 120 South, 100 West of Burley, next to Dot Foods. You call Tim Vaughn today at 431-7314. That's the number to remember. That's the number to dial. You tell them Zeb sent you for estimates on what you need. Streamline Precision is a family of companies providing construction, excavation, and fabrication services. And right now, this time of the year, you can bet they're putting up a lot of grain bins for on-the-farm storage. They are an authorized dealer in Sukup, Chief, Balin, and Nucor buildings, and doing a lot of cement work, too, for mangers and feed alleys. As a matter of fact, they're currently building the new Funk Dairy right here south of me in Murtaugh. They know what they're doing. Please contact them today. That number again, 431-7314. 431-7314. Call Tim. Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley. There you go. I did it again, left the phone on. I'm sorry. Hey, right now let's go to the phone line, and I believe we have with us the guru of meat cutting, Mr. Don Scarrow of Scarrow's Meats. Don, how are you?
I'm doing great, Zeb. How about yourself?
Well, if I was any better, the wrong fat man be wearing my clothes. Doggone it, I was hoping that you could come over because I wanted to talk to you personally, but I understand you're so busy you couldn't get out of the office.
Yep, I was planning on it, but some things came up unexpected, so I've got to work today.
Well, let me tell you that when I got the advertisement copy on the tax return meat package from Scarrow's Meats with beef and pork and chicken and cheese, man, I was salivating and I wanted it. It sounds good. How's that selling anyway?
It's going extremely well, yeah. We're putting a bunch of them together this morning. In fact, we ran out yesterday, so we're putting a bunch more of them together today.
Well, tell us a little bit about them, Don. Where'd you get that idea? It's a super idea for people to have a little diversity in their diets at home with the beef, the pork, and the chicken and the cheese. Tell us about it.
Well, I kept hearing all these advertisements on radio of people wanting to spend the tax dollars on a car, and I thought, well, that's not going to be a very good investment because it's going to be worth nothing when they get all done and won't be anywhere ahead. So I thought it'd be a good idea if we could put some of those tax return dollars into their freezer and help them out that way. So that was the way I dreamed up the idea.
What are some of the differences in the menu? I mean, what do they get with some of the beef package, the pork package, and the chicken and the cheese? Tell us what they get.
Yes, the beef deal is there's 15 pounds of ground beef, 15 pounds of ground beef patties, 2 rump roasts, which are going to be approximately 3 pounds each, 6 New York steaks, or approximately 3 pounds of New York steaks. And then the pork side, you're going to get approximately 16 pork chops for about 5 pounds of pork chops, 8 bacon-wrapped pork tenderloins, 2 Boston butt roasts, 5 pounds of bacon, 6 pounds of pork bratwurst.
Ooh.
On the chicken side, they're going to get 1 whole chicken, some about 10 pounds of marinated boneless, skinless chicken breasts, 10 pounds of chicken leg quarters, and then 2 pounds of either smoked provolone or cheddar cheese.
I'm telling you, when you mentioned the bratwurst, I'm sitting there going, okay, Don, I'm on my way. I'm opening the door. Look out. Here I come. It sounds delicious.
I was planning on bringing you some this morning. I'm sorry I couldn't make it.
Well, you're not as sorry as I am. And by the way, this is only $300. I mean, man, that is a saving, is it not?
Yeah, it comes out to about $3.55 per pound, somewhere in there.
Oh.
It's really a good deal.
Well, now you sell Taste one bite at a time, and you guys aren't the new kids on the block. You've been doing this for a long time at Scarrows Meats, haven't you? Give us a little background on your business.
Yeah, this location, I've been here going on 18 years right here at this location. I started out a couple years in a little bitty deal in Twin Falls 20 years ago. But at this location, been here 18 years.
And just give us a little background on what you do. I mean, man, you're processing everything, aren't you? You're offering beef, pork, lamb, wild game processing. You do it all.
Yeah. Yeah, the bulk of my business, what I really love to do is, the custom processing. You bring your beef, your pork, your lamb to me, and tell me how you want it processed, and we'll do it for you. That's the bulk of our business. During this time of year, everybody's just getting into the fields. They're really busy. So to help move things along, keep my guys busy, we started looking for ways to market a couple other items, and this is one of them that we're doing for the people.
All right. Now, if people are out in the audience and they're going, Scarrows Meats, gee whiz, I'm not sure where 331 North Road, Jerome is, how do you tell them to get to your place?
From the center of Jerome, it is 3 1/3 miles straight north.
Okay. And the easiest thing to do is just give you a call on the old landline at 324-7657, right?
Yep, that will work perfect.
Well, doggone it, I'm telling you, you and I have got to get together because now you really got my taste buds peaked, and I've got to try this, and I think that tax return meat package is absolutely delicious. Don Scarrow over at Scarrows Meats, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning, and I'll look forward to shaking your hand and trying some of those goodies in the future.
Okay, I will be over and see you one of these and drop by and bring you something to eat, Zeb.
All right, Don. God bless you, man. Thanks so much for calling. Take care.
You too. Thank you, Zeb.
All right, take care. Don Scarrow over at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, and they've been a weather sponsor with us for a long time, and they do a wonderful, wonderful job. I remember the prime rib and everything that they brought over that one time. Oh, it was like eating candy. It was absolutely phenomenal. Coming up in just a few minutes, we are going to have an interview with a gentleman by the name of Robert Spencer, and I know you're going to find that very, very interesting. So I'm going to send it back over to our studios with Wheels and the whole crew here right now for the break at the bottom of the hour, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes. Wheels, take it away. It's all yours.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much and welcome back to our last 30 minutes on the program for this morning. And I'm very proud and honored to have this next gentleman a part of our program this morning. And I'd like to say a good morning to Mr. Robert Spencer. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Just great, Zeb. How are you?
Well, I am great. You've got so much in the line of accolades and achievements and television broadcasts and books that you've written, and I think rather than me diminish something, give us just a brief history about Robert Spencer from your own words, if you would.
Well, all right. I'm the director of Jihad Watch, which is online at jihadwatch.org. That's JIHAD watch.org. And that is a news and commentary site that is designed to give information and raise awareness about the nature and magnitude of the jihad threat. Every day we cover jihad activity in the U.S. and around the world, violent and stealthy. And I'm also the author of 13 books, with the 14th coming this summer. And that includes 2 New York Times bestsellers, The Truth About Muhammad and The Politically Incorrect Guide to Islam and the Crusades.
I have seen you on television, and I admire your work. I want to say that up front. Mr. Spencer, I'm just going to say this, and I'd like you to basically get into our conversation this way. I believe that we Americans today are being dulled and dumbed into an acceptance of Islam and also the very dangerous Sharia law. Would you concur?
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. The United States government under Barack Obama is dedicated to promoting Islam in various ways, trying to get special privileges for Muslims in schools and educational institutions and businesses. And they are also not doing any kind of scrutinies in terms of the many, many hundreds of thousands of Muslims, 300,000 in 2014 alone, that they're bringing into this country as refugees from various hotspots around the world. There is no scrutiny done whatsoever to determine whether or not those people have jihadist sentiments or pose a jihad threat. This is just a suicidal omission. There's nothing but disaster that can come from it.
You know, I'm so glad to hear you say that, Robert, because quite frankly, our local college, the College of Southern Idaho, is involved in a refugee program, and I have said for a long time, how do we know, who do we know these people are and what are their backgrounds? And you basically solidified my fears here this morning.
Well, yeah, it's unfortunate, but we really just have no idea of the answer to that question. We don't know who these people are. We don't know what their plans are. We don't know what they're up to. And the fact is that Islam teaches that the Muslims are the best of people on earth, and the non-believers are the most vile of created beings, and that consequently the Muslim immigrants, it's the first immigrant group in the history of the world to come to their new country not trying to assimilate, not interested in the values of their new country, but with a ready-made model of society and governance that they consider to be superior to that of the country to which they're coming, and that they're determined to replace the one with the other. It's extremely foolish, but we're in complete denial about this on an official level.
You know, let me ask you this question. When Obama ran for president in 2008, it was really kind of ridiculous because I came out against him and his ideology, and automatically I was called a racist. But at the same time, I was advocating Condoleezza Rice to run for the presidency, which showed the ambiguity of the left and the Democrats. But they do have a program that works, Robert, and that program is that anybody that doesn't agree with them is either a hate monger or a bigot, and quite frankly, they're using this to some success with Islam, are they not?
Absolutely. The Islamic advocacy groups, like the Hamas-linked Council on American Islamic Relations and others, as well as leftist groups, the Center for American Progress and other Soros-funded groups, they are in an all-out effort to intimidate people into thinking that any kind of resistance to jihad terror is racist, it's bigoted, it's Islamophobic, it's hateful, and has to be stopped. And this is something that they're doing to try to intimidate people into thinking that intimidate people into thinking that resisting jihad terror is wrong.
You know, the one thing that really scares me, and I'm sure you know this story of anybody, but a couple of years ago, our United States Congressman from the state of Idaho, Mike Simpson, chastised Minnesota Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann for questioning about the Muslim Brotherhood being introduced into the White House staff. And when I had Simpson on my program, he was all upset that we would question why Muslims, and he called us McCarthyists in search of a problem. How would you have responded to that?
Well, there was an Egyptian newspaper that in December 2012 listed a lot of the same people that Bachmann had and said that they were indeed Muslim Brotherhood operatives within the United States, and that they were largely responsible for turning around the United States from being what it termed the foremost enemy of the Muslims to the foremost enabler of the Islamic agenda worldwide. Now, maybe it was just empty words, but we'll never know without an investigation. And instead of getting an investigation, we got Michelle Bachmann got ridiculed for even making the suggestion.
Robert, in your opinion right now, and maybe this is an unfair question, but on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, what is the danger scale for America as far as what they're trying to do on a program jihad or future jihad for this country?
The danger scale is very large precisely because of the denial and because of the inability or unwillingness of our leaders to face this problem directly. It's not as if we're in imminent danger of being taken over by the proponents of Islamic law, but the problem is that there's no resistance, not even any kind of an allowance of awareness of this problem. That is, the authorities, the government and law enforcement, are committed to the idea that that Islam and jihad are benign, that they have nothing to do with terrorism, and consequently they are not formulating any kind of coherent response to this threat. What you have is the age-old adage of warfare that you have to know your enemy being completely contravened, and not only contravened, but it's not even allowed to know the enemy. The Obama administration has banned any discussion or examination of Islam and jihad in connection with terrorism.
Okay, I've got to hit the bottom line right here, Robert. Is it because of the background and the youthful upbringing of Barack Hussein Obama, being raised in that culture? I mean, all that glitters is not gold, and is he maybe not the stalwart Christian and American that we think he is?
Well, you know, he did say that in his first autobiography, he did say that if the political wind shifted, that he would side with the Muslims. And he's done it consistently, over and over again. We have a president of the United States being actually on record against the First Amendment, saying that he wants to see, he says the future does not belong to those who slander the Prophet of Islam. Well, you know, the First Amendment protects the freedom of speech. And so for a president of the United States to say something like that, it's extraordinary. But he did warn us. It's not as if anybody should be surprised. He said he would side with the Muslims, and he has.
When you look at the overall situation, and you of all people know this better than I or most everyone else, I mean, what would you tell America that they need to be doing? What would you tell my audience that they need to be doing? Is this, are our boot heels already pushed over the edge and ready to fall into the abyss? I mean, how far along are we on this problem?
Well, Zeb, it's never over till it's over, you know? As the great philosopher Yogi Berra once said, it ain't over till it's over. And the reality is, it is very dire. It's a very bad situation, but and we don't gain anything by ignoring that. But at the same time, I think freedom will prevail and free people will prevail. One of the first things we have to do is try to raise awareness of this. This is why we're having this discussion. And also, we need to demand from our elected officials and candidates that they be honest about this and stop all this politically correct denial that does endanger us all.
What about the school system, Robert? I think that's where we have to really try to solidify our culture as Americans. And I'm seeing the school culture change with the acceptance of Islam and the Muslim faith and really the depletion of Christianity. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, the Council on Islamic Education, which is a Muslim Brotherhood-linked group, they have had vetting power over many American public school textbooks for years. They've turned all too many of them into essentially vehicles for proselytizing for Islam while denigrating Christianity and the Judeo-Christian tradition. This is a scandal that increasingly parents are becoming aware of, but it's been in place like this for years without people knowing.
Let me talk a little bit about your books. Now, you mentioned 13 books. I'm honored with that because I'm still trying to finish my first one, and my publisher's about ready to drag me through the coals. What about the new book that's coming out? What is it going to tell us?
That is the Complete Infidel's Guide to ISIS. It'll be out August 17th, and it's just what the title says. It's a comprehensive guide to what the Islamic State is all about, what they've done, what they're trying to do, what they hope to do, and what the world would be like if they succeeded.
You know, Robert, I got to ask you, this administration and all the countries in the world today, to me, are sitting back in a great big old geezer chair, and it seems like they're just letting this problem intensify, and I think the only way we're going to get rid of ISIS is with a direct conflict and superior force, because they're infiltrating our country, they're infiltrating every country, I should say. I don't think anything is sacred right now for the terrorist and the absolutely pure killing power that these people possess.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, in working on the book just today, I was reading this piece by Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. You might remember Zarqawi, he was the leader of Al-Qaeda in Iraq, which is the forerunner of the Islamic State. And he says in there that there's a divine responsibility, that they think they have a responsibility before God to kill the unbelievers, kill the infidels, by any means necessary. And so he's saying, in other words, that he thinks that there are really just no standards, there's no holds barred, there's nothing they won't do. And we've seen that abundantly, of course, over the last year with ISIS.
One last question, Robert. In your professional opinion on what happened with the Obama administration letting go of 5 very bad guys from Gitmo in trade for what looks to be a traitor and at least a deserter, Bo Bergdahl. What are your thoughts about now these people are going to be turned loose back into society again and possibly to wreak havoc and kill more Americans?
I would be very surprised if they didn't. I mean, this is what they know. And they've been in Gitmo all this time with their fellow jihadis, no doubt talking about their desires and goals for if they do get out. And this is what these guys know. I think it's virtually inconceivable that one of them is they're going to think, okay, well, now I'll open a 7-Eleven or something. They're going to go back to jihad. That's what they do.
I want to thank you, sir, and I want to ask you a favor. I had limited time this morning because I have to leave for a very important business meeting, and I had to curtail my program a little bit, and I'd like to ask you if you'd come back in the future. I'd be honored to have you back for a future segment.
The honor would be all mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robert Spencer, and I'm honored to have him on the program this morning talking about Jihad Watch, and thank you very much. We will call him and rearrange another schedule to have him back to answer many more questions. Very articulate, nice man, Mr. Robert Spencer, and I thank him for his time here this morning. Oh, my, it's time for the weather forecast real quick, and the weather's brought to you by the gentleman I talked about a little bit ago, and that's Don Scarrow at Scarrow's Meats. They sell taste one bite at a time. They're located at 331 North Road, Jerome, and the number to call, 324-7657. And they have what you heard him say, the tax return meat package. For just $300, you get the beef and the pork and the chicken and the cheese, and oh, is it delicious. Call them today and find out about it. 324-7657, Scarrow's Meats. And right now, here is Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers here, Zeb of the Ranch. Yeah, it's going to be boring weather for the rest of the week, going into the weekend. A lot of sun, very little clouds. I'm going to put out an advisory that you get your sunglasses out because this is going to be bright all the way through the weekend. Now, you start out with daytime highs, 63. By the time you get to Saturday, you should see a high of about 83. Yeah, it's going to warm up. So, other than that, nice, boring, sunny weather. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And brought to you by Scarrow's Meats. They sell taste one bite at a time at 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. Oh, today is Lunch Bunch Day. As a matter of fact, a lot of folks are probably already there at Denny's restaurant, and we invite you to come on to Denny's. And we also want to acknowledge, too, again, Walmart, Smith's Food King, and Hanson Mortuary. Thank you very, very much for the gift certificate drawings that we have during Lunch Bunch, and we're going to be there at 11:30. Oh, by the way, real quick, too, I want to remind you about a big spring tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations. Yep, the very best in tires, like the Eclipse tire, all-season traction, advanced design tread, on sale. Or how about this, the Wildcat AT2, on sale for your pickups and SUVs. And they've got the very best in brake service. I mean that. I know they do. And front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. You stop in and see any one of the 7 locations. Very convenient credit for tires and services with Lane in Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike in Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, and of course John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a new young man that's working for me over at the main studios, and his name is Damon, but we got a nickname for him. We call him Wheels, and he has been on the job 1 week today. And I want to say compliments to Wheels. He's done a very diligent job, and it's not easy running a program like this. And so we want to compliment him and say, thank you, Wheels. You've done a great job your first week. Now, you better maintain that for next week, too. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I will make sure to maintain my flow, and I'll keep it.
Maintain the flow, he says. Well, listen, I've got a favor to ask of you, Wheels. I've got to get ready for Lunch Bunch, and I've already asked you this off the air that I'm going to hit the road, and you're going to play a couple of tunes, and we're going to tell everybody a great weekend is in store weather-wise. And don't forget, the way things were are the way things ought to be. Zeb at the Ranch for today. God bless you all, and we'll see you at Lunch Bunch. Wheels, take it away.